And welcome to the Alex Urbina radio show. Today we are live in the KHTS studio in downtown Newhall, California. Today I'm hanging out with my lovely co-host, Ellen Tunick. This show is all about life coaching and how to create maximum value for yourself from a life coach or from the simple willingness to be open to all possibilities. It's a series called Helping You Reach Your Full Potential. Today we're not going to do a live coaching session, or we are.
Well,
we're always in session. I'm always in session. But today I want to talk about haters. Haters is a term that I never knew growing up. I don't even know if it was around when I was growing up.
I don't think it was.
But haters, I think, have always been around. We just haven't really phrased them or categorized them.
Or given them a title.
That's right. That's right. But in case you don't know what a hater is, let's talk about it. Hater is someone who discredits, devalues, or downplays your accomplishments, and or someone who simply cannot be happy for you or another person's success. So instead of being happy for you, they make it their business to try to either expose your flaws in you or your vision or whatever you're up to. So their job is really, they've decided that they're just going to be anti-you and what you're up to for whatever reason, whatever they've justified the reason. They just become that person for you in your life.
We used to call them meanies as a kid.
And then there's the internet hater. The internet hater is someone who makes a comment online about you that is purposely intended either to insult you, spread lies about you, or just be plain negative towards what you're up to. And I think since the internet came around, it just really exposed the platform for haters to really come out and just all of a sudden give everybody an opinion about what you're doing. If you're not doing it right or doing it the way that they think you should. It just gives everyone a platform to have an opinion. And, you know, since you have the option to be negative or positive with your opinion, you're going to have the ones that are going to have their negative opinions. You're never going to be able to please everybody and be what they need you or want you to be, or have it look the way they need it or want it to look to please them, right? Or to make it fit into their box or their framework or whatever it might be.
So to be a hater, is it a noun or is it a verb? I mean, to hate and to be a hater, it would be really upsetting to me to think that, someone was truly a hater.
I think it's both a noun and a verb. I think that haters just hate, right? It's
who they are.
Well, it's not who they are. Who they are is beautiful human beings that have the potential to create whatever they want in their life. However, it's more of a default that they go to unconsciously because they operate out of fear, the way that they see the world, the way that they see you or interpret things.
I think they're scared.
Well, there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of being scared. And so the way that they see things, that just makes them very judgmental. And
they feel protected by that judgment?
Well, let's take the hater that is jealous, right? Because there's different kinds of haters.
Oh, okay.
So let's take the jealous hater. The jealous hater is jealous because you don't have the credibility that they think you need to have, or you're not qualified to be able to attain the success or do the things that you're doing. And so they've justified in their own mind that you don't deserve what you should be getting. And then they look at, well, why don't I have that? How come I'm not creating that? And if you don't deserve it, or you're not justified for having it, then I should have it. Then they become jealous. So they can hate on you because they're jealous for whatever it is you're creating. But in their mind, they've justified that you shouldn't be. Instead of saying, good for you, I'm so happy that you've created that for you, I'm going to celebrate you and your win. And maybe from that, there's an opening for me to figure out how to go get my win, right? So it's just more of a come from. So haters, when they're jealous, they're coming from a place of judging and looking at you and deciding that you should or shouldn't be having that kind of success.
I've had that experience, that exact experience that you were just talking about, the jealous hater.
The jealous hater.
The jealous hater. It was, I had hired a man and a woman. They were husband and wife. They were with our company for a long time, and over the years, we're talking 10, 15 years they were with us, and you could actually, in hindsight, you could see this evolution of hate and jealousy starting to be created between them because of the fact that I owned the company. They were my employees. They thought that they should have what I have. And I ended up having to fire them. And it took me a really long time to get that feeling, because they called me very, very nasty things. And it took me a long time to get over it. But what you just said was the exact experience I had, this jealousy of, you don't deserve what you have. I should have it. And it was like a constant chip on the shoulder.
What's amazing is that we have those people in our lives. Some of them are our friends.
They were friends. We used to go on vacations together.
Some of them are our relatives. Some of them are hidden around in our inner circle that either have started off rooting for you or on your team.
Yeah.
And then at some point they slowly collect evidence, right, to prove
Correct. Yes.
that you either shouldn't be having that kind of success, or, you know, and a lot of it is unconscious. Like, they're totally unaware that they're happening. Like right now, they're haters that are listening to this broadcast
going, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but don't even realize that in their own way they could be hating on other people. And when we call them a hater and they're labeled the hater, it's not like they're operating from I hate you.
Okay.
The term hater is just, they're not on your team. They're not rooting for you to win. They're just, in their mind, they're justifying that you shouldn't be having the successes, or
they're not even rooting for themselves.
Well, I don't know. They might be rooting for themselves quietly.
How would we know?
But they're not on your team. They're not happy for you. And if they're not happy for you, they're probably not happy for other people in their lives, because they've come to the conclusion like, well, what about me?
Yes.
How come I'm not having that? And so then there starts not only the jealousy and the judgment, but then there's the comparison. So it's very easy to compare yourself and say, why does Tom, Michael, Jennifer, Christina, why are they having those successes? I work just as hard, or I'm even better than them.
I work harder.
I've been in this industry doing this one thing longer than them. Why are they having that? And so you can very easily, unconsciously find yourself being a hater. And again, it's not about that I hate that person. It's just that I'm no longer rooting for them to win anymore, because I'm in fear that my time hasn't come yet. And so then the fear creeps in haters, and they're swimming around in the fear about, what about mine? What about me? So it all becomes about them not having whatever it is that they're watching other people attain or have or accomplish, and then they don't have it. So then it just really gets under their skin.
It's the sense of deserving, that they feel that they deserve it. That was the exact feeling that I ended up getting, was, I deserve what you have. You do not.
And the crazy thing about it is they might authentically and genuinely deserve to have certain results, whether it's the results that you're creating or someone else that they want. You can be all deserving of having results and be putting in a lot of work and a lot of effort and be worthy enough and deserving enough to have the result. But if the result doesn't come, it doesn't matter how deserving you are. You still get to figure out how to decide for yourself that if the result's not here, it's just not here yet. But it's not going to change who I am as a human being, to where now I become jealous and I start comparing and I start surrendering my own morals, my own values, my own principles, and just become this nasty, negative person wishing ill will on other people because they got what I don't have.
What I deserve.
Deserve yet. Haters, you know, they have an opportunity still to go and create whatever it is. Like, don't give up. But I'm going to say, if you're a hater, whether you're conscious of it or not, give yourself permission to say, you know what, if I stopped hating on other people and just put all that energy into what I'm creating and doing, I might actually cause and create my own success for myself. But they put so much energy into making judgments about other people that part of that dysfunction is what's sabotaging them in their own results.
So how do you, like as an employee with an employer with an employee, when that's coming up, it's all over now, but how could I have dealt with that in a better way? Because I would have wanted to help them realize that. Instead, I had to let them go because I had no tools at that time to say, hey.
So let's talk about having haters. If you're a leader in any kind of a way, any shape or form, in a business, in a team environment, if you're a leader, it's going to happen. You're going to have haters because you're just going to have people that have given the gift to interpret and make up their own stories about you. So it's just par for the course to have people that aren't going to see it the way you see it, aren't aligned behind your vision, can't hear you, all that kind of stuff. So they're just going to hate on you. The question I think that you want to ask yourself is, when I discover somebody in the early phase of being jealous, how do I course correct that so that I don't ignore it and it just keeps going,
getting worse
and worse to the point where I have to now let you go.
Right.
So let's take these friends of yours, your employees, they become friends, now. And so you're starting to notice these signs. As a leader, I'm going to recommend that you take some conscious effort to empower them and to put some focused energy on reminding them that they too can chase after their dreams. They too have what it takes. So my methodology is focus on the people that are starting to become haters and kill them with kindness. Like remind them that they can go create what they want to, and even say, I'll even support you in that, because when you win, I win. So for me, it's not about resisting the haters. For me, it's about embracing the haters and saying, whatever you need, whatever support you need, let me help you on that, push you up. So, because if I push you up and you win, then I win too. So ultimately, let's come from win-win rather than win-lose. And so as you're teaching them that, because right now, haters see win, lose. You're winning, I'm not. So I'm a loser. Instead of coming from a place of abundance and saying that the world is big enough and we're big enough as human beings for all of us to get a piece of the pie. Why can't we come from that place? What would that look like if we operated from you can win, I can win, we both get to win, and let's support each other? What if we created an environment like that?
Well, that would be super positive, but at the same time, they would have to see, like, I would do some of that. I would give them, authority to, do stuff. I would give them different tasks and jobs to elevate them, let them make decisions for the company. I would do all that. But I don't think they, at that point, had the ability to see where they wanted to go. I don't think they had their own vision.
Got it. Now, after you've turned yourself inside and out to try to empower them, inspire them, enroll them, fan their flame, rally around them, at a certain point, when they don't grab the ball and run with it or show some effort or get down the road a little bit further towards their success, then at a certain point, you have to now surrender and go, I've given you every opportunity and I've supported you every which way I can. And if you're still not on my team and you're still not rooting for both of us to win and you've slipped into hater mode, then at that point, there's nothing else you can do. Okay. You just have become the person that they hate. It's just you're the person that they just have. They have to blame somebody because haters come from victim mentality.
Well, it's like right? There you go. Yeah, it's the victim.
Yeah, it's
the woe is me.
Yeah,
I'm the victim.
Instead of taking responsibility for it. Hey, no, honey, you know what? Good for Ellen. Good for her and what they're doing and what they're doing. I'm all for that. We get to figure out how to have us win.
Yeah.
And if we ask them to support us, they're the type of people that would rally around us and support us. But most people don't think like that. Most people aren't operating from responsible version. majority of the world operates from victim mentality, which is you have that, and they justify like you shouldn't be having that, and
measurements, these lists. Well, you have this, this, and this. I should have this, this, and this. And if you don't give me that, then you're this horrible person.
Yeah, and so a lot of people don't realize that you worked your butt off and have gone through sacrifices and have reinvented yourself, and you have been like ways of being and been doing, so being and doing the things necessary to create the havingness, which is the results. And for whatever reason, they haven't figured out how to look at themselves, self-reflect, and then make those course corrections within themselves to be able to create their own results that they're satisfied with. So it's very easy to become a hater. It's the easy way to go. It's to default into blaming or being jealous or
finger pointing.
Yeah, it's because
not me.
It's because of you.
It's
I'm not
you.
winning.
Yeah,
it's because you don't support me. Because
I take no responsibility for this because you're not doing the right thing.
Yeah, and we can even have haters in our as relatives. We can have.
I think I had a few of those, but they're not in my family circle anymore.
Okay, good. Yeah. So that's I think the story around haters, and so you understand what haters are. What kinds of questions come up for you when you think about haters and how to understand them or how to frame it in a way that really sets you free from them grabbing onto you and pulling you down and keeping you from your vision and you manifesting the results that you want to create for yourself?
Hi everybody.
Hey,
I'm here.
Our board op Andrew.
The question is that I had haters. There's a common phrase: haters are gonna hate. That's what they're gonna do. But how can you get conscious enough to realize that this person? At first, you say, "Oh, they're just hating on me." But what if they don't know that they're trying to help you? How can you see that as, "Oh, let me just take what they said and better myself"? So they're like, "Oh, your clothes are trash," but how can somebody say, "No, they're just saying dress better," or there's a way to improve yourself?
How to reframe what they're saying to be a positive for you?
Yeah.
So that starts with the framework that you have first on how you see haters. So they see you in a certain way where they're hating on you. You can see haters in a way that now you are in resistance to them. You can see them through a filters of they can be a gift to you. Now, how can I put a framework or create a filter that I actually see a hater that's beneficial to me? If I decided that whatever they're hating on and the way that they're articulating their hate towards me, can I choose to see that as feedback for me?
And I think that's the level people should be at. But a lot of people aren't. And I'm at myself. Because at first when somebody says something, I'm like, why did they say that? But then I quickly think, because I've been talking with you.
It's very personal.
Right. It's an attack. Like, why are you attacking me?
It's an attack.
But then since I've been just talking with you for years now, I quickly go, oh, well, that's their either perception or that's their beliefs, whatever. It doesn't affect me. And then I reframe it to, oh, okay, let me see if I can improve myself on what they just said.
So what happens is when a hater is hating on you and they have a certain perspective towards you, and if they're courageous enough to say it out loud to your face, which quite often a lot of people don't, they either internalize it or it shows up in different
very passive aggressive ways.
Exactly. But if they're one of the internet haters, right, or a troll, we'll call them.
They're trolls now.
Yeah, they're gonna now start putting it out. They hide behind a computer and they'll just
bully behind the keyboard.
Yeah, they'll throw it out there as whatever they're hating. They give themselves permission now to have the courage all of a sudden on the internet, and they'll throw it out there. Now, when they say whatever they say or whatever their opinion is or whatever it is that they're sharing in their hateness towards you, when you interpret that, you can framework it in a way that it's not, their opinion is not about you as a human being. It's their opinion about the way that they perceive you. And what most people do is we take it personal that when they hate, that they're hating you as a human being.
As a human being.
But most of your haters don't even really know you.
Exactly. So how could they possibly have that feeling?
Well, they have that feeling because they have the gift of interpreting their own reality. And so whatever bits and pieces that they see of you, they make up a story about you. And usually that story is a story in judgment. And then they decide that that's who you are. But most haters that hate on you don't really know who you are because you've never really let them into your inner circle to get to know who the real you is. And so if they really got a chance to see who you are behind the scenes and see your real heart and what you're really about, the more they're exposed to that, they would probably fall in love with you. But what they usually do is they get bits and pieces of information and then they create their idea of who you are. But the takeaway is that when they come up with their story about you and they start hating on you, you get the opportunity to interpret, is that about me as a person, or is that their perception of me and what I'm up to? And if you can separate that, then you can alleviate you taking stuff personal and getting your feelings hurt. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. And for me, I actually have compassion for people that are haters.
That's the next level.
It's like...
But you can't have compassion if you're taking it personal.
Because that's the key.
Because if a hater's making a comment or saying, or some haters talk behind your back and then it comes back to you. Have you ever had that before?
Many times.
Okay, so hater will tell somebody and then that comes back to you and then it gets, now you hearing it. In that moment, you have an option to interpret how you're going to interpret and make sense of what you just heard that went through someone else. Now, if you take it personal and get your feelings hurt, you can't have compassion for them because that feeling getting hurt causes you to automatically have negative feelings and negative emotions towards that person. Right?
Yeah.
Now, if that hate goes to that second person, it gets back to you, you don't take it personal, you're freed up now to have compassion for that person. So the compassion only happens at the next stage when you don't allow the hate to actually land on you.
Land in my heart.
Yeah. Or you land on you, meaning taking it personal. So if you can not take things personal and honor that, well, that's how Mike sees it. Yeah, but he was talking about, but that's Mike. Mike has a way of seeing things that fits his framework and it justifies for him. And if it works for him or he needs to see it like that, that's on him. Yep. Yeah, but aren't you mad at Mike? No, I'm not mad at Mike. In fact, I feel sorry for Mike.
Yeah.
Wow. How is it that you cannot take it personal when he's talking trash about you? Because that's not who I am. I know who I am. I know what I'm about.
I know who I am.
Now, when you don't know who you are, it's very easy to have.
Then you bring in everybody else's idea.
That's right. That's right.
And that's actually the haters gonna hate thing. It's fun. It's cool to say, but that's when I was thinking about it right now. That's actually a really powerful statement. Because just to say it a different way is, you're gonna be you, and that's how you are. Like haters, they're just gonna do that. So why you just said this, but why play into how you feel about and how you live your life?
That's right.
You're gonna hate. That's fine. You do you over there. I'm doing me over here.
I'm not in charge of you.
Yeah.
I'm not responsible
for how you operate
or pleasing you.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to please you or anyone else because I'm just gonna be being
who I am.
I'm gonna be being me and doing me. And you're never gonna be and do exactly the way people need it to look like, to fit for them or to agree or to align or whatever you want to call it. Now, before we go on a break, I want to talk and tease the next level. The next level or levels above that is that you never really have haters anyway.
Ooh, you never really have haters anyway.
So even the people, when they're hating on you, aren't you the meaning maker to whether they're hating you or not? So if Jennifer and Tom and Christina and all 12 of those people in one day are talking behind your back, are they really hating on you or are they just sharing their opinion about you?
That's big.
Yeah. So, but you have to get to that stage where you can frame it in a way where when people come to you, go, you're not going to guess what Mike said. about you. And then someone else comes up, oh my God, Jennifer just went a whole hour tangent about you. They're hating on you. And you go, no, they weren't hating on me. They were just sharing their opinion from their current perspective of how they see me. But they're not my haters. It's just how they perceive me and what I'm up to. So you're the meaning maker to decide whether they're haters or not. So it's a whole peeling of the onion.
Oh,
so
yes.
imagine just hearing the concept that maybe your haters aren't truly hating on you the way that you think
when
they
we
are.
come
But
back,
but you're the one deciding whether they're a hater or
I had
not.
an experience with these same people several years ago that we can absolutely look at that and apply that concept.
I love it. We're going to take a short break. We come back. We're going to talk more about what you got to say right here on the Alex Urbina radio show, right here on your hometown station, KHTS.
Healthcare can be difficult if you're underinsured or have Medi-Cal. Samuel Dixon Family Health Center can help. Services are available on a sliding fee schedule. The mission of the Samuel Dixon Family Health Center is to give the Santa Clarita Valley access to affordable, quality primary care. There are 3 locations to serve you: Canyon Country, Newhall, and Valverde. Go to sdfhc.org for more information and to find the location most convenient for you.
There are times when nothing else will do because you know exactly what you want. You want the Alamo, the taste of true Mexican cooking at its best. At Alamo, you're treated to a taste that is truly Mexican with an atmosphere to match. Enjoy a Cadillac margarita, try a mucho burrito, or sizzling fajitas. Voted the best Mexican food in the SCV and a favorite of former supervisor Mike Antonovich. Alamo Rotisserie in Granary Square, serving Santa Clarita for over 30 years.
Indulge yourself in the world of wine at the 6th Annual Sierra Pelona Valley Wine Festival, Saturday, April 21st from noon till 4 p.m., benefiting the Zonta Club of SCV. Get your Chardonnay on with live music, gourmet food, handmade crafts, and the best local wine Santa Clarita has to offer at Reyes Winery. Dionysus Dilettantes and wine connoisseurs alike will enjoy this festival. Sponsored by Reyes Winery, Pepsi, Anheuser-Busch, main stage sponsor SCV Advanced Audiology, and VIP sponsors California Bank and Trust and Mercedes-Benz of Valencia. Visit Reyes.
Your hometown station.
KHTS AM 1220 and the new 98.1 FM.
And welcome back to the Alex Urbina radio show. I'm your host, Alex Urbina, hanging out with Ellen Tunick. Today we're talking about haters and how a hater, if you allow them to get under your skin, to annoy you, to actually be more of a hater for you. Or you can decide that however it is that they see you is not really about you. It's just a current perspective of how they see you and the way that they framed it in a way that puts a negative light on you. But if they really knew who you are, and if you know who you are, what does it matter?
That's
right?
the key. If you know who you are.
And that's part of the process of your own journey of enlightenment and personal growth and self-love and getting to a point to really know who you are and what you're about. And that's what I call true confidence. Because there's a people that show up confident, but they're not really confident.
Yeah.
You know,
they have it on the outside, but not on the inside.
Oh, yeah. And a lot of times that fake confidence is really fear-driven. There's a lot of people that are afraid, and that fear drives them to show up in a way that looks confident. Like you've seen people stand up and shout, and they look like they're this amazing leader.
Yeah.
But deep down inside, behind the scenes, you don't realize what they're struggling with. And you go, wait a minute, you're not the guy or the girl that portrays themselves to be this person. Because if you were, that confident guy would not be having these kinds of breakdowns.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you know, I see a lot in the adolescents of today, all my grandchildren, who come off with a lot of bravado, but are not really brave and conscious on the inside. It's on the outside, and they're the ones most impacted by the haters.
Well, we've been...
Yeah. I had something to go off of that. Was with all this new technology and things, the youth especially, but also people in public figure and just anybody. And I've dealt with this too, with just posting like on Instagram or on Facebook and things, like a photo of myself just out. And I refrain sometimes of posting it because I don't want to
You don't want
read like, oh my gosh, you were there, you wore this, you look like crap, something like that. And people like on Twitter and stuff, and celebrities deal with this all the time, where they've been like bullied online just for posting a simple photo, and then it goes so far where they just delete their account and go off. And kids dealt with this where they're bullied online from their haters, and people just hating them all the time for being those keyboard heroes. And then it affects them, and sometimes it goes so far where that's their reality, because they've just been drilled on that it's hating and all this hate from online, that they end up sometimes going all the way and just killing themselves because they can't deal with it.
Yeah, and that's because the hate that they're perceiving from other people, or the bullying that they are perceiving and letting it land on them, is real to them.
Absolutely.
Because they haven't developed the self-confidence, the self-love, the awakening of who they really are yet. And so when you're yearning for trying to figure out who you are, you're in those early stages of not knowing who you are. It's almost like having someone kick you when you're down by having other people share their negative opinions about you. That's why we have to protect our kids when they're getting the schoolyard bullies that are getting on social media and feeling like they have permission to criticize you or judge you, and they just do it anyways. So that's why that's why it's important to build our kids up and empower them and do the inner work, so that they can frame it in a way that it's like, hey, thanks, Billy, for sharing your opinion. That's not really who I am.
Right.
But if that's how you see me, then
how do you tell your teenager that, or what do you say, or how do you even start the conversation to get to that level? I guess?
Well, I'm hoping that by the time your teenager is in their teens, that you have as a parent, have been modeling for them what it looks like to be courageous and to love yourself and accept yourself more, and to be more humble and have humility and develop that self-confidence in yourself, that they're watching you and they're learning by virtue of modeling.
And that's a beautiful thing, but the reality is, in many homes and families, that's not the case.
Right. And so if it's not the case, and if you're listening to this broadcast, that's your wake-up call. It's your wake-up call to say, well, that's what your kid needs from you, is for you to grow and evolve and develop, one, as the way to model it to them. Then it gives you the right now to coach and mentor them and speak into their greatness to build them up. If you're not doing any forms of that, you are really stuck in a state where you can't even help yourself and you can't even help your kids. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying that because
it's real.
As a parenting expert and conscious parenting and working with teens and watching the struggle and being a life coach and learning about people's personalities, and that's just the way it is. And so the wake-up call is, wow, if I want to build my kids up so that they can be able to endure the challenges and the rough judgments that they're going to get from their peers and the world, I need to help build them up. I don't care if they're 9 or they're 12
or they're 4
or they're 30.
Yeah.
I need to figure out how to empower my children, one, by speaking to their greatness, but also by modeling it and figuring out where my greatness is and continue to work on myself and develop myself.
Because what I actually see is when that conscious parenting is not going on, our kids have 2 options. Option number 1 is to take in all the negative feedback and create that self-reflection based on that, or they totally shut down. Mm-hmm. Those are the other 2 options. And obviously, those 2 options long-term are not beneficial to our children.
And when those 2 options happen, what ends up happening as a child is we go into survival mode, right? We're in survival. Then we start numbing out. We numb out our vulnerability. We numb out our feelings. And when you numb out, you just plainly are numb. You can't feel joy, excitement, passion. You can't even feel the pain anymore because it's so unbearable. So when you numb out, what's natural about a human being that's numb is to want to feel alive again. And the way that you can only feel alive again is through some kind of substance abuse.
I was just going to
So you're going to now reach out for a beer. You're going to now reach out for marijuana. You're going to reach out for pills.
Just something to take you out of where you are and into something
You're going to look
else.
for something to escape.
Yeah.
And then when you find that substance, now you go, ooh, that felt great.
I'm going to do it again.
Yeah. And now you're chasing down the highway of some kind of substance abuse.
Right.
And that's the crux of how we become addicts, right? We become obsessed with trying to feel good.
Better. Yeah.
Trying to feel better about myself because it hurts me. I'm in pain.
And I don't want to feel pain anymore.
That's
so
right.
I'm going to do that.
That's right.
Because I don't feel pain.
That's right. And some of the kids that, for them, that the pain's so unbearable that they just decide to take their life. And they're just, when it comes under pressure, they crack. I don't know how we got off of being haters onto the parenting, but
it all works together.
It does work together. But when it comes to hating and you have haters in your life, it's really your responsibility to do the inner work to protect yourself, no matter what stage you're at. If you are in the stage of just awakening and wanting to work on yourself, sometimes just putting a block or a barrier to not expose yourself to the haters is the earlier stages. If that's what you need to do, then do it. You know, some of the things that I was talking about, like second level, third level, you're not going to just get there overnight, and I don't expect you to, and you shouldn't expect yourself to. It starts with the awareness of you going, okay, what stage am I at? If it means that you need to not open up or be on social media, some people can't handle that.
Right.
And that's okay too. Just decide, you know what, I can't right now. I'm at the stage where I can't
take a time out.
I can't handle people giving me their opinion about what I wore last night or whatever it is. So then you need to put yourself on pause. It's a different kind of a game. You're not ready for that game yet. You got to start working on yourself and develop so that you can love yourself more, accept yourself more, develop that kind of confidence so that no matter who puts any kind of post about what they think you should be doing and all that, you're able to be grateful to go, thank you for sharing your opinion. I appreciate that. I'm going to do it anyways.
I'm baffled. I'm just baffled at how many people have the energy and the focus to hate on other people. It seems like such a freaking waste of time.
But it's not a waste of time for them if it makes them.
They're obviously getting something from it.
Absolutely. So now let's talk about why do people hate? People hate because there's a payoff for it.
We don't do anything without a payoff.
That's right. Absolutely. We do everything for a payoff. We get some kind of a goodie from it. So what kind of a goodie or what kind of payoff would haters get if they're going to hate on you? What do you think it is?
Makes them feel better?
It absolutely makes them feel better about
I
themselves.
mean, this is just the typical bully.
Yeah.
Who bullies somebody else and puts them down so that they can feel like they're rising.
Yeah, so all the schoolyard bullies back 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20, 30 years ago. Well, they were bullies and then now bully turns into I'm a hater. Some form of it, and there's different forms of it. But anytime that you're not wishing goodness and wellness and not happy and excited for people and cheering for them to win, there's some form of you, even if it's just like a little bit of, man, I would really like if they just fell or failed, you know? And it's sad to say that, you know what I mean? It's like, come on.
But
can't you be excited for people? Maybe if you trained yourself or taught yourself how to be excited for other people and rooting for them to win, maybe that energy comes back around and supports you to win. And it's like they say what you put out into the universe comes back. So
I fully believe that.
If you're hating on others,
you're going to get it back.
Dude, it's coming. It's
karma.
It's going out and back in double doors in the back for you.
Yeah, karma.
You're sabotaging yourself. So what would it look like if you just decided, you know what, even if because most people don't want to acknowledge that they're a hater. I don't even the hardcore haters will never say, no, I'm not a hater. Some have the audacity to go, yeah, I hate, and I'm proud of it, right? But I think most people aren't going to out themselves and say, I'm a hater, right?
It's a horrible word.
But if you really look at it, if you just decided to say, you know what, whether I'm a hater or not, consciously or unconsciously, in 2019, I'm going to start a new trend. The new trend is I'm just going to practice being happy for everyone and rooting for everyone and championing everyone around me and just authentically and honestly want people to win in life. And if I root for people and they win, there's a part of me that I win too. And because I was one of their cheerleaders or one of their best champions, that energy goes to the universe and it comes back and it lifts me up.
And there's your
from behind.
payoff.
That's your payoff on the positive side.
On the positive side.
The negative payoff is when you're hating on somebody, the payoff you get is this temporary feeling of feeling better about yourself. But then what happens is that fades away. And then now, in order to get that feeling again, what do you have to do?
You have to hate again.
You got to hate on someone else,
or
them,
or the same person, whatever.
over and over again.
Especially if that person you're hating on is bringing it all in.
Yeah.
And you know they're really upset. Now you feel very powerful.
Or if they're in your face every day. Like let's take the couple you were talking about.
Yeah.
Every day they have to see you winning.
Ugh.
And it's just like
apparently
for
it was
them,
just
but for
brutal.
them, for
it was
them,
brutal.
yeah, they're the only one. They're the only one digging that knife into that.
Yeah, because I get to go home and have and be happy and.
Yeah. So that's the crux of what a hater does, is because there's a payoff for it. And that payoff is a temporary feeling of making themselves feel better if they can justify in their head that you don't deserve it or whatever story they make up. Because that's what they're doing. They're making up stories about you not deserving it and how come you have it and they don't, and you never went to college and you didn't put in the work, and the stories are,
it goes on and
oh my
on
God,
and
the
on.
stories are so elaborate. It's so exhausting. It's like, if their wiser self can come back and tap them on the shoulder and go, hey, buddy, all that energy you put into hating, if you just put a third of that into what you're committed to, you'd kill it. You would be creating the extraordinary life that you say you want.
They literally just sap themselves.
All you got to do is
living.
shift. You just got to shift what you're focused on onto trusting yourself, believing in yourself, knowing that you have something coming great for you. If you just shift that energy towards what you're up to and be positive about it. When we come back from the break, we're going to wrap up the show about haters and hopefully inspire you and me and everyone else listening to this broadcast to decide that we're going to celebrate each other and champion each other, because that's good karma. It goes out to the universe and it comes back to us. How's that sound?
That sounds great.
All right, we'll do that when we come back from the break, right here in your hometown station, KHTS.
The stress was unbelievable.
Debbie Morris is a changed woman.
A giant boulder's been lifted.
Debbie called Made for You.
I'd finished a day of work.
Professional, residential, and commercial cleaning.
Walk into my house.
Made for You.
It was an absolute pigsty.
Weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, or even one-time seasonal cleaning.
Our mess kept growing.
255-2922.
Even when we weren't home.
255-2922.
Made for You rescued me.
The Art Gallery of Santa Clarita Artists Association, located in downtown Newhall on 6th Street between Railroad and Main, features local members' original artwork with changing exhibits every 2 months. Purchase affordable art for your home or as gifts. Open Friday through Sunday or by appointment. Artists wishing to join the SCAA can visit santaclaritaartist.org, come to our free monthly meetings at Barnes & Noble, or stop by the gallery. For upcoming shows, check us out at santaclaritaartist.org. We make visual art visible.
KHTS.
Now FM, 98.1 FM, and AM 1220, your hometown station.
And welcome back to the Alex Urbina Radio Show. I'm your host, Alex Urbina, Advanced Life Coach Specialist, in studio with Ellen Tunick. We are talking about haters. My question to you is, can you choose to love your haters?
Absolutely.
How do you do that?
Well, you love yourself first. And if you want the best, I think if you put that energy out with that someone who is hating is, the way I see it is, something is painful to them.
Yep.
And I have compassion for people that are in pain.
That's right. You actually said it earlier today,
Yeah.
and that's how to shift myself and to be compassionate for
and
them.
It's not about me. You know, I've always felt that if somebody's coming at me, and I'm just learning this now, if somebody's coming at me, it's never about me. It's about something that's hurting them or causing them pain or something that they're so afraid of. So I can love them because they're having a journey that is challenging to them, and I can love them. I mean, I think haters actually want to be loved.
Absolutely. And if enough of us started to love our haters,
We'd start to break those sharp corners.
it's kind of hard to hate on someone that loves
Who's
you.
loving you, right? That's a good point.
Yeah, so let's give a shout out to all your haters and let them know you love them.
Love you.
And you're going to bless them a beautiful Christmas
With
and an abundant new year, right? And
With
you're
joy and
you're gonna
happiness.
celebrate their wins, even if they're hating on you. And I think if enough of us embrace them, didn't take it personal, then it frees us up to be able to feel compassion for them, but also want them to win as well. But that really takes a conscious, committed effort to really work on yourself and your self-esteem and your self-love and the confidence that you got to build within yourself to be able to have that kind of capacity.
Yeah, but look at the value you create in the world. I mean, for yourself, obviously, but when you rise, the people around you rise.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that I think haters and having haters is also a symbol for you to let you know that you're doing something that's valuable enough for someone to even be hating on in the first place. Because if you're not doing anything,
You're flying under the radar.
yeah, you're low key, right? You're not taking risks. You're not putting yourself out there.
Nobody's noticing.
Yeah, because you're under the radar and you're just doing the bare minimum. It's usually the ones that are out there chasing their dreams, going after something that they want, figuring out how to reinvent themselves to be a contribution or bettering themselves or their family. It's usually someone that's up to something bigger than themselves that has people notice first of all. And if you have haters, just know that you're being noticed,
which is awesome,
by more and more people. Right?
Yeah.
Even here on the radio show, every once in a while I'll get a couple people that will, post, and it's like, yes, I got a hater or two that I can be okay with and learn how to practice loving them and giving them even the space to share their opinion, even if it's not positive. What would it look like if we allowed a space for our haters to hate on us without taking it personal?
And maybe that's all they really want is to be heard.
That's right. Just, say, hey, you know what? I honor your opinion. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
What kind of a comeback can you do with that?
Thank you. I think in life we all have a need to be heard, and it just comes out differently. And for haters, that's how it comes out.
Yeah, I think the greatest gift you can give yourself is to allow yourself to look and examine how you are in response to the haters in your life, all the way to the point that last year for my birthday, I decided to have a roast where I allowed my friends and my clients and the people whoever wanted to step up and get up on stage and take shots at me. And it was, and I don't know if you remember this or not, but when I sent the invitation out, it was really a statement for myself to say, I get to not take myself so serious. And what would it look like if I can allow people and create a space for them just to take shots at me so that I can learn to laugh at myself too? What a beautiful experience that is. But not everyone's ready for that.
No.
That's really a stage where you get to, allow yourself to learn how to laugh at yourself. And I think there's such a huge breakthrough if you can learn to laugh at your own flaws, your own shortcomings.
Because we all have them.
And we're not perfect.
Thank goodness.
So because I'm not perfect, guess what? I'm going to have haters that are going to point those out. right?
Yeah.
They're going to point that out. They're going to expose it. It's like, it reminds me of a movie called The 5 Mile. Is it 5 Mile with Eminem, where he raps? 8 Mile. I'm sorry, 8 Mile, where he raps and they battle. And if you ever know how you battle on a rap, it's one person doing a rap battle, like dissing you, right? Disrespecting you, calling all your flaws out on yourself and putting you down. And whoever has the best put down is the winner of the rap battle.
Oh, I saw that. I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, so at the end of the movie, Eminem was going to battle this guy that was really good at dissing and having great diss raps. And he was sitting there and he thought, I'm going to outsmart this guy. What I'm going to do is, when it's my turn, I'm going to start it off and I'm going to do my rap dissing myself. So what he did was he started dissing himself in the rap. Like, yeah, I am short and I don't have this. And I did grow up in a trailer park and I didn't graduate from school. And he just started dissing himself. And it was a total 360 and the whole crowd loved it. And then when it was time for the guy to battle him, he stood there in silence and he took his material from him. Yeah, because he took his material from him. And what a powerful message for us that are in personal growth, and we get to humble ourselves and go, yeah, I do those things. I do blink a lot. I do stutter. I do not have it all down, and I'm not polished all the time. But that's who I am.
That's who I am.
And when you learn how to love yourself like that, and the people try to diss you or try to hate on you,
doesn't work.
Yeah, it's not. Hey, buddy, I already know that, so it's not working for me. And if
so
you
it's
share,
all good,
and
right?
if you share that with the rest of the world, I don't care anyways, because I'm not trying to hide it.
Yeah.
I'm just being real. This is who I am. Love me or hate me. That's just who I am. And so I want to end it with this. There are those people in the world that love you. There are those people in the world that hate you. And then there are people in the world that just don't get you. And the more that you realize that those are the 3 categories in life, and you learn how to allow it to be what it is, and you're not in resistance to it, and you just keep shining your own light, you're going to attract more people in each category. And it really doesn't matter, because at the end of your life, if you're doing you and you're being you and you're happy, that's really all that matters. Because I would hate for you to be at the end of your life spending 1 minute, 1 moment wasted worrying about people that you're not pleasing or you're not doing because it's not good enough. That's my ending. That's all the time we have. The good news is we're here live every Friday at noon. Follow me on Facebook at Coach Alex Urbina. I'm also on Instagram and YouTube. Thanks for joining me on the Alex Urbina Radio Show. Right here on your hometown station,
KHTS.
KHTS.
Yeah, put me on.